Grace to you, friends, and peace to you. In all that this day will contain, God is with us. So let's enter it with prayer. Praying with Psalm 73. I am continually with you. You hold my right hand. You guide me with your counsel, and afterward you will receive me with honor. Whom have I in heaven but you? And there is nothing on earth that I desire other than you. My flesh and my heart may fail, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. We're learning the with God life from the Apostle Paul. Here's how he described his life among the Thessalonians in chapter 2 of his first letter to them, beginning in verse 9. You remember our labor and toil, brothers and sisters. We worked night and day, so that we might not burden any of you while we proclaimed to you the gospel of God. You are our witnesses, and God also, how pure, upright, and blameless our conduct was toward you believers. As you know, we dealt with each one of you like a father with his children, urging and encouraging you and pleading that you lead a life worthy of God, who calls you into his own kingdom and glory. It's striking how in this passage, when Paul talks about the gospel of God, he doesn't talk about what he said to them. He talks about his way of life with them, his whole bearing and how he lived, as though his whole life, words, deeds, everything all together was itself an expression of the gospel. It was a way of humility, and this is what we're thinking about with Sister Joan Chittister as she walks through the 12 steps of humility and the rule of St. Benedict. In her book, Radical Spirit, she lifts up the 12th step of humility and says that the 12th step of humility is that we always manifest humility in our bearing, no less than in our hearts, so that it is evident at the Opus Dei, which is to say prayer, in the oratory, in the monastery or the garden, on a journey or in the field or anywhere else, and constantly say in our hearts what the publican in the gospel said with downcast eyes: I am a sinner, not worthy to look up to the heavens. And Sister Joan reflects on this step, saying this: humility is the great liberator in life. No one and nothing can undermine the humble person's confidence in God. Nothing can deter us from committing ourselves to the will of God for the world. Nothing can convince us to adapt ourselves to a world whose greed is crushing and whose arrogance is smothering. We will be forever happy with what we have. We will not live pretending to be what we are not, forever worried that our masks, our toupees, our cosmetics, and costumes will come off in public. Everything we do will speak of kindness, of acceptance, of care for those in whose presence we stand. We will have put down all the trappings that are meant to hide our real selves from the world. Freed from all pretensions now, I will be honest, open, and my authentic self to all people and in all situations. It is the work of a lifetime, yes, but it is a lifetime that gets quieter, calmer, kinder, and more satisfying as we go. Our journey into formation in God's humble likeness is a journey that God takes with us, and in fact, God is the heart of it. That's why it's so good for us to entrust ourselves to God's care, to receive whatever God would do in and through us in all that this day will bring. So let's do that with Charles de Foucault's prayer of abandonment. Father, I abandon myself into your hands. Do with me what you will. Whatever you may do, I thank you. I'm ready for all. I accept all. Let only your will be done in me and in all your creatures. I wish nothing more than this, O Lord. Into your hands I commend my soul. I offer it to you with all the love of my heart. For I love you, Lord, and so need to give myself, to surrender myself into your hands without reserve and with boundless confidence. For you are my Father. In all that this day will involve, let's return again and again to God's presence, God's humility in us to live it. Let's bless the Lord. Thanks be to God.